Welcome to the Labyrinth. My guest today is Faraz. Many of you might know him as Identity Faraz because that's the name of his YouTube channel, Identity. In his YouTube channel, he talks about philosophy, religion, culture, identity, society, and other relevant issues. And that those are the same things that we'll be talking about today here in this podcast. I hope you find this podcast interesting. And if you do, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and leave a comment. And memberships for this channel is now open. So if you want to become a member of the Labyrinth community, hit the join button and get your membership badge. So let's begin. Paras, welcome to the Labyrinth.
Thanks for reaching out.
Yeah. So how are you
Pleasure.
doing? How are you doing, man?
Yeah, I've been doing fine, just trying to beat the heat of Delhi, particularly the northern region. And
Yeah.
it's quite scorching right here. And, have to do all the work, and then university examinations have been going on. So, trying to balance everything, the work life balance.
Okay. So what are you studying right now?
I'm studying architecture, particularly. So, I'm in
Okay.
the final year of my architecture. So, it's a 5 year course. So yeah, that's what my background is. But having many interests, that is what the story of every Indian student is. Not able to focus on what they are bestowed with, but particularly having swinging hobbies. So yeah, that's what
Does
it
your
is.
does your life ever feel very distorted because of so many interests?
Yeah, it's sometimes because there is too much of noise around you when you are having too many um, too many things that you are doing, and people don't tend to understand. Particularly your parents doesn't understand what the meaning and audacity of having so many interests is, because um, wherever you see some sort of light, you just hold on to it and you go till the end. And sticking to one thing is not what this modern society is all about. So it is a bit distorted. Time management becomes an issue. But yeah, when you see results, when you see people appreciating your work, when you see people around you, then it becomes very motivating or inspiring to continue your work. Yeah.
Yeah. But do you ever fear the lack of stability? Because a lot of people, including me, when we have multiple interests, we may not get the right job or the right career, and we may not have enough savings in our bank. And
Hmm.
if we go in multiple directions, it's not just parents saying, "Hey, beta, focus on your career."
Hmm.
You will start reflecting like, "Hey, what am
Yeah.
I doing with my life?"
Hmm. Yeah, I've had my lessons. So the thing is, I always wanted to do aerospace engineering, or some wanted to do something in physics research. um, because when I was in my 8th standard, I started giving out theories and theorems, not mathematically formulated, but yeah, theories and theorems in the written form. So the thing is, always wanted to go there. But what happened in 11th 12th, as I landed in the competition, and I was a PCM student, physics, chemistry, mathematics. Anyone from India who is watching, or anyone who is from the CBSC board in India, they would know. And that was something very different. I was not able to cope up there because my father had a transferable job. And what happens is, in a transferable job, you're not able to 10th you are in a different state. I was in Assam, and 11th 12th I did in Gujarat, Vadodara. So the thing is, it became very difficult for me to cope up, and my interest started swinging again towards cricket. Every teenager has this aim. It has this what you can call it as a dream to play for India and all that stuff. And it's for my parents. It was like I destroyed my career because I was destined to go for engineering. But what I did was, instead, because I wanted to play cricket, I thought architecture would allow me time to give to my cricket training. So I moved my paths and I landed into architecture. So yeah, this is one lesson which people can take, that don't take major decisions of your life very in a jiffy. Don't take them in a jiffy, because my friends, all of them, they have completed. I took a drop for 1 year. So that was because I just wanted to play cricket, and I wanted to uh, represent any sort of platform in cricket. So I landed in Jamia Millia Islamia University, and I cracked the exam just because I wanted to play cricket. I cracked the exam, and out of like 2 lakh students, I got a rank of 2,000 or 2,500. So and Jamia is pretty good when it comes to architecture. It's in the top 5 6. So yeah, but now it's a sort of a bonus for me that I'm getting time, whereas my friends who have done 1 year of job, they have gotten 1 year of salary, and I'm still studying, so it's quite painful. But yeah, that's how life is.
And how has your YouTube journey been so far?
I started my YouTube journey as a self development, self help. I started with spirituality. I started with spirituality. I was into spirituality, meditation, giving out tips. That was my other channel, which now I have privated all the videos. But I didn't feel like this is my shell. You know, I didn't feel that this was me. Whereas I was in a particular stage when it comes to meditation and the stages of meditation. I was feeling stuff. I was getting into stuff, but I didn't feel myself. So I swing things around. And what this told me YouTube told me is to become confident and know more about yourself, because when you are talking to the camera, what happens is you tend to speak some things which no one could have ever imagined of, or you particularly in particular. So it's a very good exercise for you to come out of your shell, and that is what I discovered through my YouTube journey. So then I started a self help channel, self development channel. Again, I didn't find myself there because self help uh, became a very singular thing, and I found it to be very singular. Then I dived into philosophy because I religion started to fiddle with my mind. You know, my name, and because you can make out from my name what religion would I belong to, and it started to fiddle with my mind. So, but my relatives were always pushing me towards religion, and what happened is the changing point, the turning point in my life was my father's demise last year because of COVID. So he was a religious person, and seeing him suffering due to COVID, and then losing him was a complete turnaround for me. But in terms of me personally and in terms of my content, and I was all into philosophy because I just wanted to give the world this sane feeling that philosophy is something which I'm particularly into on my YouTube. Also, philosophy is something which is life changing because it can give you weapons to either defend yourself or to make a life of yourself. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about religion. Did you leave your religion? Are you an atheist, agnostic? How would you describe yourself?
It's a very complicated thing. I'm in a free falling state. That is what I like to put it as. Like someone pushes you off a cliff. There is no grounding to the cliff. There is no ground. There is nowhere you will land. But what religious people, atheist people, theist people do is they land on a platform which keeps them sane,
Yeah.
which keeps them away from insanity. And I believe that insanity is where you find your sanity because you are in sanity. So the thing is, after speculations, after diving deeper into what my school of thought would be, staying away from a school of thought, trying to absorb everything, finally I've started working on a school of thought which is very amateur in its stages, but it's related to something known as transmutational atheism. So it's a kind of transcendental atheism. So I've been trying to work stuff on that. So yeah, let's see where that takes me. For the time being, I do not know myself. Who am I? I'm neither a theist. I do not consider myself to be in a school of thought. Whereas this is a paradox, not considering yourself in a school of thought is like considering yourself in a school of thought. But still, you know what I mean.
Transmutational atheism. What do you mean by transmutational? When I think of the word transmutational, I think of trauma, because people who are into this trauma healing, they
Hmm.
use the word transmute a lot. They keep saying transmute your trauma, as in convert your trauma, convert shit into gold. That's what they mean.
Hmm. Hmm. Like for me, the existence of God, if God exists, is both shitty and both gold, like you said, like you well put. So there are two categories of people. Either they have a disbelief in God, or they do have a belief in God. There is no middle ground.
What
All right.
about agnostics who say that I don't know if God exists?
But they are still, you know, there is no middle ground, as in you have to have, if you are having a belief in something which is such supernatural, you have to have a lean towards something which is more of an existence. You know what I mean? Because to believe in something which is such supernatural, you know, when you look at your life, it's so mediocre, it's so simple, there is no magic, there is nothing supernatural, you're just sitting and there's nothing happening, there is silence all around, and still believing in such an entity which you think, I'm not saying that you believe is a different word. When you compare it with think, you think that it might exist. So that might exist is far having a heavier weight than thinking of not existing, you know. So transmutational or transcendental atheism is, I will not disclose everything, but I'll try to give a few lines that it's more related to the instantaneous existence of God. All right, it God dies and God lives according to the situations and scenario that I want myself to be in. That's pretty much it. And as I said, I'm still developing it. It's still in the mediocre amateur stages, but for sure I've been writing a book, it would be covered in that. So yeah, you'll get a full-fledged answer for that.
Okay. About religion,
Hmm.
even I'm not a very religious person.
Hmm.
I'm more on the spectrum of agnosticism.
Yeah.
But now, as I get older, I think
Hmm.
most people become more conservative as they become older,
Yeah.
including me.
Hmm.
And I feel like there are some advantages or benefits to religion. Even if science proves that God does not exist, I would still want to be religious, because religion provides so much comfort. I was recently
Hmm.
watching this video by Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is used to be a fighter. Now he's like he does all these motivational kind of videos,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
he's a Orthodox Christian from Romania,
Hmm.
but he praises Islam a lot. He
Okay.
says like Islam fixes all problems.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
you look at Western society, they became more atheist, they became
Hmm.
more agnostic, they abandoned religion, but because of that, crime has gone up. The polarization has increased. But you look at Eastern Europe, or you look at first world Islamic countries like Qatar or Bahrain,
Hmm.
streets are very clean. You can you can keep $1 million on your lap in a place like Qatar, and no one will steal your money. So
Hmm.
he says that way, if you see, religious societies have
Hmm.
some benefit. What do you think of this dilemma?
What I think is, by the way, many fighters have been gone into Islam and come out of it. One prime example is Mike Tyson. He was into that and he came out. Um, so the thing is, at its core, be it any religion, not particularly Islam, it's based out of fear. The foundation is based on fear. The moral foundation of any religion is based on fear, and as well put by a philosopher, great philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. He said that if you remove that foundation, if you remove that morality, which he termed as slave morality, that we are slaves of particular either supernatural beings or the nobles of the society, the top epitome, like predators of the society, then there is advancement of nihilism. Okay, for all those people who who think themselves to be nihilists, or the thing, this jargon to be very fantastical, let me clear this out. It's a very pathetic state of mind. All right, why I'm coming to this, and why, and after this I'll cover what religion basically is. When you shatter everything, everybody is a nihilistic person, because everyone gets his micro or macro faith shattered. What is a micro faith? That my parents do not love me. You are a 5-year-old child. Your parents give you unfathomable love throughout their lifetime. Like lifetime for 5 years for you is a lifetime when you are a child. And then you do something and your father or your mother hates you. Then you feel that, okay, I'm not getting 100% warmth or comfort that I expected them to give me. Now where should I look at? You know, like this is a scenario when your parents do not teach you religious preachings. They're not religious, they don't care about God, they are all worried about uh, how you should come about, how you should present yourself. They're not godly people. So now you yourself are looking into something which would give you more comfort and more warmth, more love, more compassion, and that's when you make your own god. If there was no religion existing, there would be a religion instantaneously created there, because you are wanting to find, you're looking for something, you are in a quest for something. So abrahamic religions in particular are based on fear. Everything is based on the platform which I was talking about a while ago. They fall off the cliff, they get into a nihilistic state. Everyone feels a nihilistic state, which is avoid. When your morals are shaken, everyone questions the existence of God, be it the topmost religious leader of your society. he also he also feels like, ye jo main kar raha hu, whatever I am doing, is it worth it? Will it prove something at the end? Will there be an afterlife? Will there be something? But then the fear, cripples his mindset. The fear uh, fiddles with his intellect. And that is what the primary base of every Abrahamic religion is: fear. You cannot question anything because you fear that you would be put to hell, you would be burned for 1000 or 10,000 or whatever years, and that is when you lose yourself.
Um, you said that nihilism is a very pathetic state of mind,
Hmm.
but there are few people who I have met who have found joy in nihilism. There is this guy called Nihilanand. I don't know if you
Hmm.
know
No,
this
no.
person. Okay, there is this guy called Nihilanand. His
Hmm.
actual name is Raphael Samble. So in
Okay.
2019, he sued his own parents in Bombay High Court for giving birth to him without his
Hmm.
consent.
Hmm.
So he's like, "Why did you give birth to me?" And he did it basically as a joke. And I've
Hmm.
had him on this podcast also.
Okay.
Okay, his thing is that ever since I realized that life has no meaning or purpose, I have no tension, I have no stress, I can do
Hmm.
whatever I want. So
Hmm.
there are people who interpret nihilism this way also.
Hmm.
You, but majority of us feel like, "No, there has to be a purpose. There has to be a meaning. I don't care how stressful it is. I want
Hmm.
there to be a purpose. If there's no purpose, I'll go mad. I'll go suicidal."
Hmm.
So how like I don't know how to find this balance.
Hmm. He's more towards existential nihilism or optimistic nihilism. He's not in a nihilistic state. Nobody can be in a nihilistic state. Anyone claiming himself to be a nihilist, that's, I don't know if any person, not talking about that person you're talking about, because you cannot be in a nihilistic state. Why? Nihilism at its core, in a simple definition, not going at its depth for all the viewers. I'll not go in too much depth of existentialism or nihilism. So the thing is, it's there is no meaning to life. In a nutshell, there is no meaning to life. Preaching this same statement is like giving a meaning to life. Voluntarily or involuntarily, there is a meaning to life, which robs you of your, in some way or the other, in some shape or form, of your free will. Because what will you do if you are a nihilistic person? Say, there is no meaning to life, I'll hang myself, I'll take steps towards suicide, I'll sit at the corner of a room. Whatever you do, my friend, you're giving a meaning to yourself. Either be it you sitting at one place in a room, that's a meaning. You can go up, stand up, do a job. You're sitting there, that's your own choice. But when we are talking about that free will concept, and compare, draw a parallel of that with what I was talking about, which was skip my mind, which was It just skipped my mind. So yeah, this happens with me. So the thing is, coming back to him, um, it's more of a existential state which that person is in. When nihilism is there, it's why I say it's a pathetic state of mind. Many people stay there for like a couple of years. Many people stay there for 3 years. Like, for him being born without his parents' consent was a major flaw in the faith which he used to believe in the society, which is, what's the faith in our society? Our parents have given birth to us, so it's our moral obligation to take care of them, and vice versa. That is a faith in society. That is what society is built upon, particularly Indian society. Americans don't give a shit about living with their parents. So now that faith is broken. Why? Because you are thinking that you do. Why your parents have been given birth to you without your consent? We're not talking about consciousness here, because majorly, particularly, your consciousness hasn't been developed. And if you look at the positive side of it, you are getting a chance for you to develop your consciousness by you having a birth. So that is a more win-win situation than suing your parents. But because court kachari chakkar and all, it's very, very pathetic. So his faith got broken. This is a micro faith in society, which is how my parents would give birth to me without my consent. That's a micro faith. And a macro faith is, why do I have to believe in God if God doesn't exist? That's a macro faith. Both are getting shattered. You are in a nihilistic state. Now, what did he do? He sued his parents. He found a solution to his nihilistic state.
No, let me give some context. I think it should be fair if I give some context
Okay,
on it.
yeah.
Okay, so he filed a case against his
Filed a
parents.
case, just
Okay,
jokingly, yeah.
okay, in the Bombay High Court, but then
Uh-huh.
the judge obviously is like, "Hey, piss off, man! I'm not going to list this case. This is a." And the judge said,
Yeah,
"Look,
I get
I'm
it.
going to fine you if you proceed with this case," and he
Hmm.
pulled it back, and he became viral. Okay, it came on
Hmm.
BBC, it came on international media,
Hmm.
and then when he was interviewed, he said his larger goal is just to raise awareness, because here in Bombay, people are in
Hmm.
train, in buses, just stuck, like they are doing the same job. They don't know what they're doing. They get married, and after getting married, one after
Hmm.
another, they give birth to children, and nobody knows why they're doing it, right? And we are here in this existential dread, just suffering
Hmm.
a day after day. I just wanted to sue my parents just to wake society up, just to be like an alarm clock.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I was just taking the philosophical example of that. What he would have been going through. So just to touch that, don't sue your parents, people. This was just a joke. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what it is. That is how you create the balance. You cannot stay in the nihilistic state forever. That's not a eternal life for you. You have to come out of it voluntarily or involuntarily. You will come out of it. So yeah.
And the people who don't come out of it, I think their only destiny is, it's to me, it seems like, is suicide.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's
I
that's the
mean,
problem.
philosophers like Arthur Schopenhauer, who is also considered one of the existential philosophers, who he has also researched some things on Buddhism and tried to connect Buddhism and the pessimistic side. He didn't give the word nihilism. Uh, he tried giving the pessimistic side of this, what we are talking about, and he said this, which was, the only solution or answer to this state is suicide. But my friend, suicide only you know only gives you a temporary solution, because you have lost your battle with the nihilistic state. You gave into it, you lost it, you didn't win it, you just succumbed into it. And it's a temporary solution, it will exist, you are just trying to escape it. So he tried to give it an a perspective which is of escapism. And I would like to take this time out and clear this thing out. People like philosophers like Schopenhauer and Friedrich Nietzsche and all these philosophers, who are considered to be dark, who are considered to be insane, negative, please do go through them, go through their life once, go through the things which they have faced. Because I didn't myself understand the gravity and audacity of situations where you lose someone close to you, who you have seen when you were a kid, who gave birth to you, and and situations that come after that. You just sit back, relax behind your smartphone, and just try to watch viral people. Like, okay, Jordan Peterson is going viral, we have to be intellectually cool in a room, so we'll study Jordan Peterson without knowing how his life has been. And people make comments on such philosophers, people claiming them to be pessimistic. So please go through their lives first, go through the dread they have faced, compare, draw a parallel, put yourself, learn this one thing. And this is a very, very beautiful tip for all of you, is to put yourself in a shoe. Whenever you feel someone to be shitty, or whenever you're feeling you want to fight someone, just put yourself in their shoe. Like, couple of days ago, this, I don't know, Airtel. Yeah, the Airtel guy, no, the Zomato guy came to my place, and we ordered some samosa and stuff. And he was being a bit aggressive. He was being a bit aggressive and touchy. And what normal people would do is go and have a head-on collision with him. Have fight with him. And I was about to have the same, because he was being very loud and stuff. And then I put myself into his shoe. He would have faced so many people. He would have come with a smiling face for the first customer, and the first customer, like, couple of minutes late, he would have scolded him, or he would have embarrassed him, whatever the situation is. What will happen to me if I was in his situation? I'd lose all my trust from all the customers. I'll be like, it's up, everyone is alike, everyone is the same. Why should I pay the sense of respect to them? You are giving me money, I'm giving you food. Equation has been balanced, so why should I do something upfront? So yeah, that gave me a humble feeling. And I was like, okay. And he was humbled as well, that he didn't respond. So yeah, apologies for stretching. I
No,
speak at a go.
it's
That
good.
is, yeah, that is
I
what we do.
like digressions, man. I like digressions because when people digress, they make far more sense if they gave a direct answer.
Yeah, so that's what the thing is. So you should be humbled in life, you should be open to everyone and anyone. So this, there was, I'd not like to do it, but I'd like to do it. It's a hashtag sorry not sorry situation. There was this rift between two mammoths of YouTube India recently.
Are you
And
talking about the Prakhar and Sandeep Maheshwari?
Prakhar, Shwetab started from Shwetab.
Okay.
And a person who is such, who, I don't know if he's educated or not, because the behavior he portrayed is not at all a behavior which an educated person portrays. Someone who is a father of a child, who is married, who who should be humbled, and in a sense of in a feeling of gratitude with the audience he's having. I do not give a flying F to the situation what happened, because this is not connected to me. I only have the problem with the stuff he talked about Western philosophy.
Yeah,
you know
yeah. Mm.
Western philosophy. And without even knowing, because I've been into spirituality, man, I know how it feels to be. You are thinking that's an illusion for himself. So spirituality is it is a means to eradicate illusions. Mo maya hatao, illusion hatao. But he's in an illusion which is spiritual ego. He's an illusion that he's superior to everyone, that the culture which he's studying is superior to every culture that exists. My man, Western philosophy can I use the F word?
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
Western philosophy can, just fuck your brains out. You have not been into it because you're scared to be into it, because it really talks about pessimism. And tagging things like it's useless. Philosophers, he tagged Descartes as useless. His line, I think therefore I am, is a very solid philosophical statement. And you just seeing the I in that, I, because all spiritual people is all about I, me and I eliminate I, you are just moksha prapti ho gayi. you are enlightened, because you have eliminated I. But in the process of doing so, in the process of preaching so, you are focusing, you are making I the center ground of everything. And that is what he did, and that is the repercussions that we saw. I made a video on Sandeep Maheshwari, not Sandeep Maheshwari, but his fans who use him as a drug for motivation. And this was covered by Varun Maya in his video also. I have a community, so people keep sending me videos. So I saw that, and he was saying the same thing. And I made a video on Sandeep Maheshwari, which became a bit aggressive towards the audience, and I saw the shitty side of his audience, the 13, 14-year-old kiddos, just, and what at end they did was they used my father's demise as a weapon against me. That अब तो तेरा बाप मर गया, अब तो सुधर जा intellectual being. These were the words, and I have put those on my community tab as well, if you go and watch my channel. So yeah, this is, I have seen both the spectrums, and someone who, and now these people do not accept the fact that their superhero is behaving in such a way. He's just a normal human being, such, just drenched in aggression and ego and super ego and alter ego, whatever you may like to call it as, whatever that is. But yeah, we have seen the face of this guy. So yeah, please don't put tags on people. Please don't put tags. Everything is beautiful, be it Eastern, be it Western, be it Middle Eastern, be it Chinese philosophy, be it anything. Everything is beautiful in itself. Everything has a meaning if you want to extract it, rather defaming it. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so going back to what this whole Sandeep Maheshwari fiasco, I don't want to spend too much time on this because, again, I have nothing to do with this.
You
But
don't want
it's,
legal letters coming to you.
yeah, but it's crazy, right? That a person is so thin-skinned that he's going to sue anybody and everybody who even chooses to criticize him. A
Hmm.
person calls himself a motivational speaker, a role
Hmm.
model, and at the same time, you're behaving in such a cheap way. Someone's criticizing you, and you're deflecting it by
Hmm.
talking about their character, their family, their culture, and at the same time, you put yourself on that moral pedestal. Look, I'm here.
Hmm.
And he's not the only one. There are so many
So many.
motivational speakers. Motivation, this field of motivational speaking has become so toxic here in
So
India.
toxic, very much.
It's and it's mainly because of their fans. These fans are pumping the gas from behind. Okay,
Hmm.
these fans are putting fuel on their ego, and these people think, oh, motivational speakers are like evangelists. They have become the new godmen.
Hmm. Hmm. That's what the thing is. And not only motivational speakers, I'll give you one more story, right? If you have time. One more incident. I reached out to this person to have a podcast, and this person comes with Shwetab Gangwar on his podcast. So that person is a common guest. I'll not take names. And that person is respected very much in the self. uh, Started to, you know, they started to take off because of Shwetab Gangwar. No, not Prakhar, not we. I'm not talking about Prakhar Gupta, Prakhar ke pravachan, but someone else. I reached out to them and they were like, okay, let's have a podcast. They kept me waiting. They said, "एक month बाद आना, come after 2 months, 3 months, 4 months." And I said, okay, I'll wait. And they were like, I was like, people want your help. People can take your help. I've seen your content with Shwetab, Mr. Shwetab. And that person was like, okay, why don't they come to my Discord group? I can help them there. I was like, come on, why do we have a podcast? If the Discord group would be flying off, then why would anyone have podcasts? Everyone would be running to Discord groups. Let's have a conversation. And they were like, okay. I kept pinging them. Like they said 2 months ke baad aana. I went 2 months later, and then they said, okay, tell me what are your numbers and how active your audience is. And I was like, okay, fuck, this is something new. Nobody asked me this. I've had podcasts with big YouTubers, and they are my friends. They have become my friend. They have become like my friends, and they have never said this. But they were like, when are your audience active? What are your numbers and all that? And they decided the time. Okay, we'll have podcasts on this particular date. What happened is 4 or 5 days before the podcast, before the actual podcast, I have the screenshots and I have the chat, so I'm not lying here. So what this is what literally happened. 4 days before the podcast, that person messaged me that you didn't ask me for my thumbnail. You did so what happened is they gave me a date that this is the date which we'll have a podcast on. I liked the message. Liking the message in itself means that I have seen and I'm in favor of the decision that you have taken, because I'm liking your comment. 3 days later, before 4 days before the podcast, that person came, messaged me a full-fledged text that you didn't ask me for my thumbnail. You know what number I stand on. And that person is having only 8K or 9K subscribers. What person I'm standing on, what number I am standing on, what is my audacity. You just liked my message, you didn't respond. I was waiting. Okay, tomorrow. Okay, day after tomorrow. You should be asking for the thumbnail, you should be giving me a link in prior, you should be giving me a formal mail prior to this, and all that bullshit. And that is coming from a aged person. Okay, they're well beyond 30, 40. I was like, okay, fuck, this is something new. This is way bizarre. I didn't expect that. And they were like, you will not get anything in your life if you go with such
What?
behavior. And I, standing on such an audacious ground, gave you an
Mhm.
opportunity to have a podcast with myself. And this is what you did. This is, and I would like to gracefully decline your invitation. And what that person expected is, that person expected me to lick them, please don't do this, please. And I'm uh, a crackpot kind of. And I was like, I gave my thing, and I was like, what etiquettes that you are talking about, the word social etiquettes, that doesn't exist. That exists in your reality. My reality functions very differently. If you don't like, no problem, you can just fuck off. No issues, no issues. And I was like, apologies if anything hurt. I'll take care of myself, I take care of my future, whatever we were talking about. And this is coming from someone who is just having 8,000 subscribers, got a little bit of heat and little bit of fame from Mr. Shwetab, and has a very good figure in the YouTube space. So that is, people have two faces on YouTube. One is that their reality face, which they don't want to show. The filled with ego. I am having 8,000 subscribers, 9,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers. I'm helping people out. Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you? So yeah, this was a very bizarre thing for me. And I was like, okay, now I stopped reaching out to such people. I was like, I'll, I don't want you. Like, uh, so that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's so weird, man.
Yeah.
You had I think 2 3 bad experiences like this.
Yeah, I've had two three bad experience. They are good people as well. Like I have podcasts with Mr. Science's Zoe Pranav, Mr. Pranav Radhe. He's a good guy. He's a nice guy. I have podcasts with Mr. Vijendra Mohanty Vimo. He's a good guy. He's a nice guy. They're supportive. Once Mr. This Pranav Bhai also shared my video for this philosophy in Hindi, the lecture channel. I asked him to, can you please share it, and he shared it. He was like, no issues, man. If because you're doing something good, you're doing something good for the society. You're preaching philosophy. You're teaching lecture. There is no dedicated channel in India who is teaching philosophy through the whiteboard or blackboard method lecture wise. So yeah, so that is something new, and he was supportive. And Mr. Vijendra Mohanty Vimo Bhai was also very supportive. So yeah, these people are good. These people are the optimistic side of YouTube India. But then there are these examples.
Pranav was one of my first guests when I barely had some 50
Yeah.
subscribers. He came,
Hmm.
I think, and he had like some 100 times more subscribers. He a very humble guy. So this is,
Hmm.
I may not agree with everything Pranav or Vimo says, but that's where the maturity comes. You don't have
Hmm.
to agree with everything Pranav says or
Hmm.
what Faraz says. I may not agree.
For sure,
Yeah,
100%.
but you can, respectfully disagree with me.
Respectfully, yeah. Hmm.
Exactly. You don't have to start some quarrel. You don't have to defame another person or
Yes.
say like, "Oh, I'll threaten you in court. Do you know who I am?" That's all child play,
Yeah.
man. It's so childish.
Yeah, and the thing is, there should be a subtle agreement in disagreement. This is what I believe in. Like, you see, if people who follow debates, if you have seen debates of Christopher Hitchens, Richard Dawkins, Jordan Peterson, Sam Harris. I cannot watch such long videos. I just watch the starting 15 minutes, ending 15 minutes, the crowd hooting them, So I imagine myself on such stages, but that is a far-fetched dream, but you one can dream. So, seeing them, they have heated arguments, but in a very respectful manner. And they're friends. These people are friends. They respect each other. They are not like, why now I'll sue you. How can you talk about this? And I have a community of around 300 people, two communities, 300 subscribers of mine, and one is for the identity channel and one is for the philosophy lecture channel. And I used to take regular Google Meets, and we used to have discussions in there. And what many people came in there to pull me down, कि आज I'll pull Faraz down because he's the, they think that he's the alpha male of this society, of this community. Now we'll pull him down. We'll pull him down and we'll become cool. We'll have an intellectual edge over him, which they can't, because when I'm in a debate, I'm very cool minded. I do not get aggressive. I do not want to pull anyone down. So I have an edge over debate with anyone I get in a debate with. I mean, I can protect my shit. Even if it becomes a bit illogical, I can protect. I can give a logic and illogicality or fallacical arguments. I can give a bit logic, not 100%, but yeah. So this is what people are. They just want to pull you down. So that is why India in particular is a little bit behind in intellectual perspectives. So yeah.
And do you think this is the contribution of news channels? Because if you see news channels like Arnab Goswami or the
Huh.
usual Godi media stuff, they're screaming so much that at times they even get physical. Also, there are
Hmm.
clips where they punch each other. It's so crazy. And even in the street, you're from Delhi, you would know, or not just Delhi, anywhere else also. If
Hmm.
you get stuck in the traffic, no one will get down and say, "Oh, you hit my car. Do you have insurance?" They
Yeah.
don't say that. They say, "Hey, pension." That's how we speak, right?
I'm still intimidated to drive car in Delhi. I cannot drive. I know how to drive car, but I cannot drive car in Delhi because of the people. And you talking about media, this is the repercussions of our behavior as well, because media politics is media is based media sucks the blood out of politics. I mean, suck in a negative manner, not a positive manner. And politics is all based on human sentiments, and human sentiments is all based on, at the epitome particular in India, is religion. As long as you're drenched in religion, I'm not asking you to leave your religion, but I'm just giving you a perspective. You should be open to perspective. As long as you're drenched in religion, these people will make use of you, be it media, be it politics. They want to, what media is doing, they're showing your it's just a way of broadcasting your sentiments online. Not online, but broadcasting your sentiments on television. So why curse it, or why run away from it? Face it. This is the repercussions of people who are trying to spread their religion, without even knowing that. Like, people who are trying to spread their religions, shouting whatever their slogans, the religious slogans or religious bylines. They don't know about their religions themselves. They don't know about the culture. It's all based on superiority, dominance, laying that mine is superior than yours, whereas the core of every religion is to respect other religion, respect the people of other religion, respectfully try to influence them. But that's not happening. Influence them into your side respectfully, but that's not happening.
What can we do once we leave religion? That is another question, because there's another school of thought that says that there will always be religion. Let's
Hmm.
say you leave religion, you leave Christianity, Hinduism,
Hmm.
Islam, and then what do you worship the state? Do you Communism becomes like another religion? In
Hmm.
the West, wokeism has become another religion. All
Yeah.
these new religions are coming now. So what is the point of living old religions just to
Yeah.
worship new religions?
Huh. Any forced philosophy becomes a religion. Any philosophy, any school of thought which is being forced onto you becomes a religion. You know what I mean? Like, I've been facing many new people, many vegans coming and unnecessarily fight. Like, man, At an individual level, I like eating what I like eating, you know. So why the hell, I'm not preaching anything, I'm not giving out the word to the youth or to someone that go and you should be eating tons of non-veg today, you should be rose ek murgi phado. I'm not telling that. It's my perspective. I like eating. I'm sharing that because I'm on social media. I'm sharing my life. I want to be 100% transparent with the people around. Like they are like, you call yourself as a pseudo philosopher. First of all, I didn't ever call myself as a philosopher. I always consider myself to be a thinking being, a being which is thinking. Everything is a being. Even this thing is a being. So, but we are thinking being. We have a consciousness which is still debatable. But yeah, you know, everyone has their own choices. And if you're not influencing someone, not preaching it at a higher level that you should be doing this, as long as you're not doing that, you're fine. You
I
know.
found that interesting what you said. We have a
Hmm.
consciousness which is still debatable. Uh,
Hmm.
I want to get into that because there is again a school of thought called Charvaks. There is this guy called
Hmm. Hmm.
Charvak philosophy, Kushal Mehra.
Hmm.
The Charvaks believe that they are very materialistic. They are
Hmm.
atheistic, materialistic, and they don't believe in soul or higher purpose. And
Hmm.
consciousness is just a product of being alive. Just like how saliva is a product of chewing. You chew, therefore
Hmm.
saliva is created. Consciousness is just you are alive. That's why it's there. There is no
Hmm.
consciousness after death. That's their perspective. So,
Hmm.
what do you think about consciousness?
If they're if they're giving such conclusive statements, like this might be a very conclusive statement. My friend, you haven't seen what happens after death. Neither, no one has come back from death and told them. You know, like death. I'm talking about not near death experiences. That is not death. Your body is still alive. Your consciousness is still there. You're not coming back after death of like 15 days, 20 days. Ki- they have been they have been buried and they are like zombies. They are coming out of their grave and telling you this is what happened, this is what happened. So you can have a ton of arguments. This is gonna happen. Like someone will say there would be utter gloominess, but what's the meaning of utter gloominess? What's the meaning of utter darkness? When you close your eyes, try closing your eyes and you see utter darkness, there still you can see things flying around. Not flying around, but you can see in the darkness they're like like I don't know what to call it as. I used to do this as a kid. Like there is no meaning to utter darkness. There is no posited meaning for utter darkness. Like these people claiming that it's just an outcome of you being alive. It's a very solid statement. It could be vice versa. There is a paradox in every statement that you witness. It could, if you look at if you reverse this and then you look at it, consciousness coming first, and consciousness is your what I mean, that they are saying what they say is that consciousness is the byproduct of you being alive. you know and you could look at it at like in the reverse manner, and it could be true as well if you have faith in that. It all boils down to faith. What faith are you having in what things? I'll have to look into this Charvaka. Many people have recommended me in the live streams as well. Charvaha, whatever that is. I'll have to look into this. It's pretty interesting. Let's see.
I want to ask you a very childish question.
Yeah.
Okay, we spoke so much, we think so much. I mean, especially you talk about philosophy. I may sound like Sandeep Maheshwari now.
No,
Okay,
Shravan.
uh, why what's the point, like why isn't it better to be blissfully ignorant? Why think about the philosophy? Look at all the people who are ignorant about these issues. They're so happy, they're so successful, financially successful, because they don't loiter around
Hmm.
thinking about philosophy. And
Hmm.
look at us. I mean, we are many of us are depressed, confused. Why do we need all this?
Hmm. So I made a video on this on my channel, which was an outcome of me. Just I started a series which was known as Lonologue, a talk with self, just sitting by yourself and talking. And I covered this line, ignorance is bliss, and I tried deconstructing it. So I don't remember. I tend to forget things, but that is there in that video. And the thing is, everything is philosophy. Whether I tell this very often, that you are sleeping on in your bed 5 a.m. cozy, you want to take a piss now. there is this dilemma going inside of your mind. Should I go take a piss because my bladder is paining, or should I sleep, or should I sacrifice my sleep? Should I sacrifice my bladder and be all very uncomfortable, or should I go take a piss? That's philosophy in itself. That is you giving premises that what will happen if I don't take a piss? My bladder will explode, or what will happen is I'll pee on my bed, or what will happen if I pee but my sleep will get disturbed? Okay, tomorrow I have my school or my college or my office. If my sleep is disturbed, I'll not be able to give that meeting or that presentation in the meeting. So you're giving out premises, and with the premises then you conclude that okay, let me take a piss, man. Why? I'll not be able to sleep also because of the pace, and I'll not be able to, and it will pain also. So you take a decision, you draw a conclusion from the premises, from the various thoughts and premises, and you're coming to a conclusion. That's logic, that's philosophy. Everything is philosophy. Even if you are an entrepreneur, philosophy of money, philosophy of entrepreneurship, everything is a philosophy. Everything is a philosophy at its core. Like, you ask me a question, like and I sit still, I don't speak nothing, you'll be getting tons of thoughts. Yeah, did I ask a sane question to him? Did I ask something wrong? What is he feeling? What I should have asked a different question. Okay, I'll not ask this question to the next guest. Okay, I'll apologize for this question, and then I answer it. So that gap in between the things which you were thinking of, those were all premises, and you were drawing conclusions. That is philosophy. So you cannot escape philosophy. It's everywhere.
Even what you say, even an ignorant person then is delving into philosophy, even unintentionally, even without
Yeah,
knowing.
because you're voluntarily trying to ignore something which you know exists, which is such thoughts, which is your existence. You cannot fathom the world without the existence or without meaning. You have to have a meaning. I cannot exist without a meaning. I think, therefore I am. I think, in a nutshell, I think, by Rene Descartes, again, which Mr. SM didn't like.
Therefore, therefore
Mr.
I
SM,
am.
I think, therefore I exist because I'm thinking. That's in a nutshell. It's a very big statement, but yeah, big philosophical line. But yeah, that's in the nutshell. So everything is philosophy. Everything, paradox is a philosophy in itself. You know what I mean? That having no meaning is a meaning. Trying to put no meaning is a meaning. Having no desire, like all these spiritual people say, we don't want any desire. Having no desire is a desire in itself. Wanting no
Yes.
desire is a desire in itself. So everything is a paradox.
Yeah.
You just have to figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I have to ask man to man, okay,
Yeah.
because you're in your final year of architecture,
Hmm.
and you earlier mentioned that your father passed away last year.
Yeah.
What do you think is the role of masculinity in the 21st century? What should a modern man do? Because men are expected to have certain responsibilities, and we are expected to bear some pain on our shoulders.
Hmm.
How should we behave to survive and thrive in this world?
A man in a society is considered to be a role model because the women of the house look up to him. You know, you might be a big feminist, but still, this is there. Women look up to, because women seeks a sort of protection. It's a biological need to have a sense of protection when, because you, obvious reasons, not going into the biology of, you want to give birth, you want a protector for your child. So I believe that standing as an example to portray a, stability in life, maintaining your relationship as well as maintaining your life. I mean life as in relationship, it's both the same thing, but what I meant is work and life balance, and being an example to portray that, being an example to radiate that, how you should really be a man. A man is really a role model. He's not an alpha male. He's not someone who is very strong physically, mentally. He just, because people look up to you, you can be a role model who is radiating your ideologies, that how to create a balance between relationship. Like what happens in India is our parents, particularly our fathers, are very because of the office because of their workplace, they become very frustrated, and that frustration comes on to us. That frustration, directly or indirectly, because he cannot just unleash his frustration onto his boss or in the office onto his colleagues. He'll lose his job, but he wants to release that frustration. So we, being the softer target, or the softer target would not be a good word, but we being a target in front of him, which he's connected to, that frustration comes to us. So being an example, you know having that frustration and unleashing it into your work, not work I mean जाके boss को मार दिया, no, in your work, in your ethics, work ethic, giving out everything. Like, I have frustration, I have seen my relatives kick us because my father is no more. The breadwinner of the family has gone. My father was someone who everyone in the family looked up to. Medical advice, financial advice, educational advice of all the kids that they are having. Now he is gone. They know we are useless. I'm useless. अरे architecture कर रहा है क्या? What use can he be of? My sister is in 12th standard. What use? My mother is a housewife. What use? So they kicked us. I'm filled with frustration. What I do is I unleash my frustration in my videos, in my lectures, not video, lectures, philosophical lectures. There's no point sitting your ass down and just blabbering on the camera, you know. So you do unleash your frustration in a productive environment, which is I do in philosophy. So I'm able to churn out more videos with a very very different sense of teaching. So yeah, just channel your frustration in a productive manner. That is what men should do, because men are frustrated. That's what I know.
And today, with the help of internet, we can even monetize our frustration, which I think is a good idea. If you
Yes.
are frustrated, start a podcast, start screaming,
Yeah.
tell your problems to the world. If you
Hmm.
can get likes and money in the process of
Hmm.
transmuting or bringing out that frustration, why not monetize it? Make at
Hmm.
least you will be. Of course, you'll still have some residue of frustration left in the end, but you'll also make money. Why not?
Hmm. People don't understand this. Like, people, this is a very common statement that you will witness on YouTube, particularly talking about YouTube. I don't know about other monetary platforms, but what people say is, ये तो सिर्फ views and पैसे के लिए कर रहा है. He's only doing this because of views and money. I made a video on Friedrich Nietzsche's eternal recurrence of the same. It's a very good concept, a self-help concept of Friedrich Nietzsche, and I made a lecture video, which is one of the most elaborated lecture videos on Friedrich Nietzsche's eternal recurrence. And I made it two lectures. One lecture was of 7 minutes, and another was of 8 minutes or 6 minutes. And a person came into the comment section and he said, 2 मिनट के concept को 7 मिनट में समझाया. And I was like, man, philosophy is not your cup of tea, because even if you try explaining this concept for 100 years, you cannot understand it. There is such gravity to this, to such concepts in existentialism. And I wrote that, and what he said was, I am in love with philosophy. Philosophy is my love. What you do is read from Google and do this for money and for views. No, this is what, again, we cannot eliminate Mr. SM from this. Mr. SM, or people who is very big, who are having big numbers. I have not monetized my channel. He's like, I have not monetized my channel. I'm not earning any money from this. And these small YouTubers are earning money. This is what their audience say. I do not earn money from the ads, advertisements. I'm not running ads.
Or
And I believe he has said these statements himself. I'm not a hypocrite, or I don't know if he has said, please do correct me if I'm wrong, the comment, but uh, his disciples, his students claim this, that you are doing this for money. तुमने expose video बनाया because you are doing this for money. He's not doing it for money. अरे, then imagesbazaar.com पे 14,000 की इतनी टट्टी सी पिक्चर क्यों बेचते हो? 16,000 rupees for a single image, which is pathetic, man. Just go on to his website, imagesbazaar.com. Distribute it freely for people who are freelancers. Why aren't you doing that? You know what I mean? And a single image is 20,000, which is not even worth it. I can click better images than that.
see, my problem with that, with the Mr. SM saying that why are I have not first monetized my YouTube channel. I'll tell him monetize it. No, make
Yeah.
money. Who's stopping you from making money?
Hmm.
Please make money. But
Hmm.
for people like me, people like us who are in the lower middle class, who are barely making 100,000 rupees from YouTube.
Hmm.
You are judging us while you are making millions from some other sources. This is
Hmm.
something. This is pure survivorship bias. Okay,
Yeah.
people on the upper strata, they keep saying that money does not buy happiness. Only rich people have told me this. Money
Yeah.
does not buy happiness. I tell them, if you genuinely believe that money does not buy happiness, you give me your money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me $100,000, man. I can change my life with $100,000 or even $10,000. I can upgrade my gear to such an extent, and I can just run YouTube ads and reach out to more people. Why shouldn't I do that? And what the thing is that these people don't understand is money. Everything is free. Everything is free. Like if someone is running courses, everything is free. That is for someone who can afford it, who wants more. And why shouldn't I charge money for my time? Why shouldn't I charge money for me? Like I tried running, I tried running two courses, not two courses, two batches of a course, and people came into that course. And one person, like I was this, social character who used to help everyone, problem solving. 6 hours I did a live stream, 6 hours problem solving live stream like a madman. And I used to help this person, and he wanted a personal guidance, and I was like, okay, all these 16, 17 years old year old, and I helped him, gave my 1 hour of my life, helped him out, and just, and a big shout out to one of the community moderators of my community, Tane, Mr. Tane. He has been with me since the advancement of my YouTube channel. He also sits in those Google Meets where I consult people, and he was like, okay, I helped him out, and then I released my course, which was mainly 499 rupees. And he gave a full-fledged message कि now you have become greedy. The Faraz I used to know used to work for free, used to work for this. Now you are asking for money. You are also like everyone else, and all those shitty things. I was like, okay, man, all the best to you.
Yeah, who does not work for money? Like people
Yeah,
who do not work from money, they like all these spiritual gurus. They get charity, they get donations, they get government subsidies, which is why they may not have to charge people money. They won't talk about this backdoor way of making money, which is why they
hmm,
look down upon us. I'm very open. I'll say openly, I
yeah,
like views. Okay, I
yeah, for
like
sure.
money. Okay, there's nothing wrong in what
Hmm.
I've invested in this mic. I've put some money in that lighting. What is wrong in saying that I would like to get a good return on investment also?
Yeah, for sure. I have a mic as well. Why shouldn't I,
Yeah.
invest in that? And they are like, कि यही तो capitalistic mindset है. This is what capitalistic mindset is, and all that. I'm like, what are you using? What are you using to comment this? A smartphone. What are you wearing? A jeans, a t-shirt. Rip all of that. Throw your smartphone away. Everything is an outcome of capitalism, man. What are you talking about? Don't use anything. Why are you using it? So yeah, you come across people like this, but I have learned, as you said, ignorance is bliss. Again, I forgot the deconstruction of that, but still, you should be ignorant sometimes, ignorant to such people. Ignore, because you cannot eliminate these parasites because they're insecure. I'll be very honest, they are very insecure. They cannot see someone who comes from their background, who has the same house, same financial standing, and who is rising on YouTube, or who is doing something on YouTube. They come and pull you down. They're like that only. If you talk about yourself, they claim you to be a narcissist. Why the hell shouldn't I talk about myself? I'm doing something. Why shouldn't I praise myself? Why shouldn't I love myself? Not a spiritual self-love kind of thing, but in general, why shouldn't I show affection and reward myself with praises? I'm doing it myself. I'm not paying someone money to, praise me. I'm praising myself. So why the hell are you having problem? But they tag you as narcissist. You're a narcissist. You talk about yourself. I am good at philosophy, man. I can preach things which philosophers like Nietzsche used to preach. I can do that. I do not read books, but I can do that. That's a very arrogant statement, but that is my confidence. An underconfident person will tag anything and everything as overconfidence. He's an overconfident person because fucker, you yourself don't know what confidence is. You do not know the confidence of C, so you'll tag everything as overconfidence. But I have I have this sense of uh, praise for myself. So why not? You should be confident with you in your skin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's better to be honest than to pretentiously virtue signal. Say, "Hey, look at me! I'm such a sadhu. I'm so innocent." Why do that? Just say if you are a selfish human being, you, I don't understand why the word selfish has to be used in such a negative way. Some amount of selfishness is required for survival
Hmm.
also. So
Hmm.
if and I'll say honestly, I have the selfishness trait. I'm not
Hmm.
going to go and murder someone or rob someone,
Hmm.
but if I work hard, I will demand to get rewarded, and that much amount of selfishness, I think I'm worthy of that.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, for sure. You should be selfish. You are surviving. Survival is the ultimate ego and selfishness. You are eating, you're surviving. In a nutshell, it's selfishness. So you cannot eliminate it. You should be selfish with your work. With your work, not to an extent that it's harming the people around you or the society in general. But yeah, you should be selfish. Why not? That's what people don't understand. And I don't want them to understand. I don't want them. There are people who will vibe with me. I don't want the other spectrum. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So, what are your future plans for YouTube?
For the time being, I have introduced a new concept on YouTube, which is Janta ki philosophy, which
Yeah,
is going into public and knowing about their philosophy, talking about concepts like nihilism to them, which is a very interesting concept. I was not able to do those videos because it's scorching heat outside, and I don't want, like, for a video, I don't want my productivity down for 3 days. So that's the level of heat here. So that's what the thing is, and that's a new concept. People have been appreciating it. That's a very interesting concept. So I will be working on that. That will come on the other channel, Identity, and the lecture channel. I am thinking of zoning and making it India's, only lecture channel on philosophy. So yeah, I just crossed 1000 subscribers there as well, and it's getting a ton of response, ton of people are liking it, people are enjoying the way of my teaching, and I've been introducing my lectures as well, my own philosophies and how I perceive this world. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Let's see.
yeah, I really like Janata Ki philosophy. It's something that no one else has done in India. People go on YouTube and talk about philosophy. A lot of people do that, but
Yeah.
going and sitting in front of a chai shop and
Yeah.
talking to everyday people
Hmm.
about their philosophy, about
Yeah.
their life, it's so fun, man. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Great job.
It's Yeah, thanks man. It was very soothing, and I did it all alone with my tripod, and there are many issues with that also. Like, people are like, क्यों नहीं आ रहा है videos, and I was like, भाई, it's difficult क्योंकि अकेले करना होता है. For the time being, nobody अभी तक, I've not gotten anyone who can come with me and shoot the video. So I have to stand up in between because people see the cut parts, the edited parts. I have to stand up, put them to a halt. Like this uncle who said a very interesting line. I was like, uncle रुक जाओ, record हो रहा है कि नहीं देखने दो. Okay, record नहीं हो रहा, रुक गया. It stopped recording. Why? Because some uncle who was standing there, he touched my screen, smartphone screen, and stopped recording. And like, आप भी chair लगा के बैठ जाओ uncle, आप भी बतिया लो, don't fiddle with the smartphone. And I checked it and I came back and I was like, uncle, again, please, what you were saying, we didn't record. Many things didn't get recorded, which was very interesting. I was telling them about philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche. They don't give a shit about Nietzsche, but as I told them, they were very entranced by my philosophies as well, their philosophies as well, and the concept of existentialism, and the concept, and the philosophy of death and God and everything. So yeah, it was pretty interesting.
So I have one last question. Before that,
Yeah,
do you have any questions for me, or do you have something to say?
I just say that, I just say that, man, I went through your list of podcasts that you have, and you are doing a great job getting in every spectrum of people, and getting all those perspectives is a very good thing. And being patient and listening, being a good listener, is one of the, which I have to learn as well. I'm not a good listener. I like to speak very much, but my mother always curses me to listen. But you listen very well, and the questions were. I have had a couple of podcasts before also, but they were just very mediocre and not very interesting. But yeah, this was an interesting one. I enjoyed, and got newer insights for myself. Just that's it. No questions to you.
So finally, I want to ask, and this is a question that I ask a lot of my guests. I don't know how you will answer this. What do you think is the purpose of life?
The purpose of life is to just thrive, is to just survive in a nutshell. But beyond, if you look at the universe, look at the sky, it's the 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 mammoth, the mammoth. Uh, I'm having many thoughts inside of my head. What should I articulate? You know,
Yeah.
it's such humongous, and you being such a tiny speck, you should be interested more in what this universe or what deep space or whatever you call it as has for you after you die, or whatever that meaning of death is. You should be always curious for it, and you should just live. You should not be uh, driven so much by philosophy, by thoughts, by thinking, by overthinking, that you forget how to enjoy the worldly luxuries of this life, or the journey, which I believe time doesn't matter for me. Like, I do not believe in the concept of time. I do not like keeping watch in my room. So, because I believe time, if you get into that time, you into that cycle, you tend to repeat your life again and again. You don't have anything interesting. You start comparing your days with the previous day, the day before. That could be a good thing for many people, but not a good thing for me. I do not want comparison. So if you want to escape your past, escape your past life, not in the Sadhguru wala past life, but your day before. Don't don't think about time as a very constant 24 hours, 48 hours. It's an ever flowing thing. It doesn't exist for me. That is what life is without time.
Yeah. Time is a big. Time is another paradox.
Yeah.
Anyways, we are out of time
Yeah.
here. Thank you for us for
Thanks,
being on
man.
the labyrinth.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My honor.